And that was something that if I could go speak to my younger self, I would just say to her, I am so proud of you. Hello, my beautiful angels, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different and honestly a super vulnerable one. And when I was thinking about the type of video to create, this was the first thing that came to my mind, with May being Mental Health Awareness Month. And this is something that I haven't really opened up about before. I really think that this is exactly what you need to hear, because a lot of my content is around living your dream life and manifesting and all this big, massive success and happiness and these great outcomes. And that is my top priority, because I really want to bring light to social media and light to show you what's possible for you. But at the same time, I am a human being. I have my own struggles. I have my own history, my own past experiences, and really only my students of my online courses get to know a little bit deeper about my story. And I'm going to share with you a little bit, but I definitely do expand more on my personal experiences in my online course, Manifest Your Dream Life. And the reason for that is because a lot of what I teach has come from my own experiences. Well, rather, everything that I teach has come from my own experience. And I think that's so important, especially when you're working with a coach or a mentor or someone of that sort, that you can actually, thank you, New York City, you can actually see that person and see yourself in that person. So anytime that I have worked with a coach or worked with a mentor or bought a course, I wanted an end result like the person that I was buying a course from. And I always encourage that for anybody that watches my content, is considering investing in Manifest Your Dream Life, is that if you see something in me that you like, learn from me, right? That's what I do. When I see someone with a successful business or a business model that I like, or a lifestyle that I would love to live, I learn from that person. I learn everything I need to know, everything that they've done. And then I find a way to take their advice and make it my own. And that's really the purpose of this video, to learn from somebody who may have similar past experiences than you, and you may not even know. Literally a couple of weeks ago, one of my students messaged me and was like, Julia, I was going through your course and I just want to let you know that I can totally relate to what you went through in your past experience, and I never felt that connection with somebody before, and I never even opened up about it. So I always say, like, if you're going through something, there's probably someone out there going through the same thing, if not something similar or in the same realm. So the purpose of this video is really to just shed light on my story, my mental health journey, and how I got to where I am today, and really being super vulnerable and honest with you like I've never been before. So I would say my journey really started when I was 10 years old and my parents got divorced. And when my parents got divorced, my mom had sent my brother and I to therapy. And we had gone to therapy literally for like all my life. And it definitely got to a point where I was outgrowing it. I was outgrowing the therapist, and I was getting older. I was getting more into like my high school years. And I'm super grateful and appreciative for my mom sending us to therapy, because it has played a huge role in who I am today. And I'll share more about that. And when I was going through therapy, I obviously didn't think of it like that, right? I was like 10 years old. And then when I was about 14 years old, 13 or 14 years old, I would say, I don't know, I think that's when you start high school. And I found a life coach. My mom had found me this life coach, and we were switching from therapy to life coaching. And that's literally when everything changed for me. And this woman is so close to my heart still. I still keep in touch with her, and we've worked together for so many years, and I really attribute a lot of who I am to her, because she really taught me these foundational practices and a lot of the foundation of everything that I do today, whether it be through my work, whether it be through my lifestyle, whatever it is. I connected with this woman so well, and she really changed my life. And I tell her this all the time. She is so amazing, and I really do believe she is like an amazing coach, an amazing person. But I think the reason why it worked so well for me is because we had this connection, and I intuitively felt so aligned to her. Having this woman in my right corner, I had gone to sessions with her weekly. I would text her, obviously with boundaries, not all the time like blowing up her phone, but if something came up, like I really just kind of had her in my right corner, and I couldn't be more grateful for this opportunity and appreciative. And I'm just super grateful, and it's definitely something that I thank my mom for so much, and probably not enough. So hopefully she's watching this video. She supports all of my stuff. She just texted me the other day saying like, I'm so proud of you for chasing your dreams. And I really think that a support system is so important. And of course, we've had our up and downs. She's my mom, and I love her so, so dearly, so, so much. And I think the main part of my relationship with my mom that has helped me is that she always found someone to help me in places where she felt like she couldn't. And I think that that was huge for me, because she knew that she couldn't give me that support that a life coach or a therapist could. So she said, let's outsource that. Let's find someone who can. And I think that's what's really, really helped me in my journey today. So when I started going to that life coach, I honestly have had a lot of past traumas, and I don't know how much I will be sharing in this video, but really just what I feel called to share. But I would say that it really started when I was in high school, and I started getting bullied in high school. And, you know, I think for a while I didn't realize that it was bullying until after, and it really left a mark on me. And I think that's why I'm so big on limiting beliefs, because the things that I was getting bullied about in high school really is what stopped me initially from posting on social media and creating content and creating this platform. And it was only when I started to really work through those limiting beliefs and realize that they were controlling so many different things in my life is when I actually felt the freedom from them. So that bullying, right, from my high school dragged into my adulthood and my career choices. Like, I knew I always wanted to be a content creator, and at the time that I was really passionate about, it was blogging, the blogging era. So I really was like, oh, I want to be a blogger. And I think like during COVID, I just kind of broke out of that. And I was just like, this is not me. Like, I am not what happened to me. I am so much greater than that. And once I got through those limiting beliefs is when my career skyrocketed. So I had gone through that bullying in high school. I had gone through some breakups. I had gone through bullying in college. And I always felt like I was different. And what I mean by that is I always felt like I was beyond my years. I always felt like I didn't fit into the norms for my age at the time, where I felt like, okay, like all my friends in college are going out and partying and doing all these things. And like, don't get me wrong, I definitely did a ton of that. But at the same time, there were so many times where I didn't want to be doing those things, and I did them anyways to try to fit into this box. And I think it really affected my mental health, because I was living as somebody that I was not and trying to conform to society, and it just like wasn't my thing. Like, I think this mainly started happening when I was in college, and I didn't want to party. Like, I wanted to do side hustles, and I knew I always wanted to have my own business, but I never knew what. I knew that I liked all of these topics that I'm talking about: mental health, spirituality, like travel and lifestyle, just like all these things, but I had no idea how I was going to build a business around it. So like in college, I remember when I was going through some serious bullying, and I was at a point where like I literally had one friend. Like, I had like no friends. I had one friend. And of course, like I had my friends from childhood, but like they were from home and I never saw them. Like at college, like I had no friends at one point. And I think that's when my growth really started happening, because I listened to this podcast by Gary Vee, who's one of my favorite people, because he helped me definitely get out of a really tough and rough place that I was in. And oh my God, I get like very like sensitive like talking about this stuff because obviously like I share so much of my life online, but this is like very vulnerable for me. That I was listening to his podcast and I just kind of had this like intuitive voice tell me, like, I'm getting like emotional. I had this like intuitive voice tell me that spend this time alone, spend this time working on you. Like, now you have the time to focus on yourself, to focus on your growth. And I think that point when I had no friends made me realize that I would rather have no friends than be friends with people who are gonna tear me down and make me feel bad about myself and bully me and like not build me up or not be in the direction of the person that I'm trying to be. And that was something that if I could go speak to my younger self, I would just say to her, I am so proud of you. For me to say that at literally 20 years old changed my life forever because it taught me not to settle. And it taught me that, and I kind of just always knew, like in the back of my mind, I was like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, even though I don't know what it is right now, I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that changed everything for me. For me to just have that unwavering faith, this unwavering belief in myself that no matter what I was going through, like, it was all going to be okay. And I've always kind of been that person to talk myself through these things. And I think that's why I decided to build courses and to help people and to post this stuff on social media, is because I've always been my own cheerleader. So I like to be everyone else's as well. Like, I'm so self-aware to say, like, you're self-sabotaging, you're talking negatively to yourself. And like, I do that in my own life and I do that for other people as well. And it's just the most fulfilling feeling to be like, you're limiting yourself. Like, you are meant for so much more. And that moment was so pivotal in my life, because if it weren't for those really, really lonely days, I don't think I'd be where I am today. I don't think I'd be in the place that I'm in. And I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have friends. I had my friends from home, but they were all living up their lives in college. And of course they were super supportive, but like, I was just felt so physically alone. And like I said, like, if it weren't for those moments, I don't think I would be where I am today. So now that we got through the hard part of the story, it definitely still goes a little bit downhill from here, but you know, I think that was one of the toughest moments and one of my breakthrough moments that I was like, I am so much different, and like, that's okay. Different in the sense of like, I want to read books. I want to expand my growth. I want to join online courses. I want to learn more skills. I want to be a social media influencer. Like, these were all not societal norms, or at least not norms in my friend group or in my college. And I think when I broke out of that and I said, I'm just going to do me, because it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else except me. And then I graduated college and I found out that I was $25,000 in debt. And I literally just would spend so many nights awake. It's like overthinking and stress. And I had just started my job on Wall Street. And, you know, it's like I had this amazing job on pen and paper, and people would hear about me and learn about me, and like in conversation, like I would talk to friends, I would talk to family, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm working on Wall Street. And it just felt so out of alignment to even say it. Like, people were just shocked. They were like, what? I would have never expected that from you. And I think it's like, I got this job to try to prove something to people, that I'm smart and I'm capable of getting a really good job. But once I got to that job and I was working that job, I was just like, fuck, I'm not happy. Like, this is not what I want to be doing. Like, this is not who I am. So that point in my life, and I had graduated college early. So when I graduated college, I was alone again, but at this time, very intentionally alone, where all of my friends from home were still in college. I had made a few new friends by the end of my college career, and those friends were like still at school, like living it up, and I was the only one who was just like working and focused like on my growth and focused on myself. And was in that phase was when I was like, I want to get serious about my life. I want to get serious about my health. I want to get serious about getting into a relationship. I want to be debt free. And I think that, like I said, those lonely days in college dragged into my post-grad life and my adulthood life of like, okay, now I'm going to just focus on me. I'm going to do me like never before. I'm going to pay off this debt. I'm going to start side hustling so I can start setting myself up in another direction, whatever that direction may be. I thought I would be at my job for like at least 5 years before I started my own business. And I was there for just a little over a year. And then I was really like loving being alone. And I was like, I love who I'm becoming. Like, I didn't love that I was getting burnt out, but I was like, I love that I'm working on myself and I'm finding myself and I'm discovering myself and I'm finding my passions. And once I had done that and I was side hustling to pay off my debt, like my debt was my only focus. And by the time I finished paying off that debt, I challenged myself and I was like, okay, what can I do now? And at that time, I was also going through a lot of personal stuff. I had lost someone very close to me, very close to my family, to their battle with mental health. And I think that also is what started this video and what inspired me to make this video and what inspired me to start my YouTube channel, to start my social media accounts and posting on social media. When this person lost their life and lost their battle to their mental health, really opened my eyes. And that life coach that I was telling you about, she said to me, and she said, well, now you see that the world needs this. The world needs like this gift that you have. The world needs to hear what you're saying on social media, because a lot of the times when I was first starting, I was so afraid that people I knew were going to judge me, people in my hometown, people from my college, like literally like when you're in your college years or you're like just recently post-grad, that's all you think about. And that's all you know is your people in that small circle. That life coach had taught me and inspired me to just keep going. When I lost that person, like I just really opened my eyes to be like, the world needs this. And that was like my driving factor, that I was like, if I can just help one person each day, my life will be changed forever and I will feel fulfilled and I will feel like I did something good for this world that has given me so much. And that has always been like my driving force to create courses, to create free trainings, to create all these different things for you for free, that I was like, the world needs this. And those people are going to talk about you anyways. So if they're going to talk about you anyways, wouldn't you rather do the things that you love and know that you're honoring your true, authentic self, rather than hiding and shrinking yourself to fit into a small space or a box that your limiting beliefs are putting you in? It's not to blame the other people. Yes, we have past experiences. I had my own past experiences that led to a lot of my limiting beliefs. But if I let those limiting beliefs stop me, I wouldn't be able to help make this world a better place. So I started posting about this stuff on TikTok, about this stuff on Instagram, just manifestation tips, mental health, and really just living a happy and fulfilling life. Because for me, it's like not woo-woo. Like for me, even though people look at me as like the manifesting expert, for me, it's very practical what I teach, and it's very broken down. And it's very like, you still have to put in the work. You're not going to just sit around and your manifestations are going to come knocking on your front door. Because ultimately, if you don't put in the work, you're not going to feel fulfilled and you're not going to get what you want and you're not going to be living to your maximum potential. So what I teach is very practical, and my secret sauce is mixing the practical with the spiritual, because I've tried both sides of this. I've tried to just focus on the practical and I've tried to just focus on the spiritual, and I've only ever seen success in my life is when I intertwine the practical and the spiritual. It's a recipe for success, and that's my process when it comes to manifestation. So once I started posting, I definitely started feeling those same fears and limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome. And it was really tough to work through that on my own. And especially when my content was blowing up. I don't know if you've ever gone viral before, but there's a lot of haters. Like, I still get a lot of hate comments. Honestly, not as many as you would think, or maybe I just don't see them, but really harsh things. And I think people are a little bit more harsh on Instagram than they are on TikTok. But I kind of always took that stuff with a grain of salt. But I think what was really tough for me, like I said, was thinking about people that I knew personally. And I was like, they're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm weird, all this stuff. And what I realized is, like, if somebody's judging you, they're clearly not doing better than you, because somebody who's doing better than you will never judge you because they're too focused on their own shit. Like, if somebody has the time to sit around and judge you and comment on your video and share your stuff in their group chat, like, if somebody has the time to do that, they're clearly in a place where they're not happy with themselves. Because for me, when I see something on social media that I don't like, I don't comment something negative. I don't share it and say, fuck this person, F this person sucks, blah, blah, blah. I simply just move on and say, that's not for me, like, go do you. And if you can't do that, tells me that you're in a really low place in your life and you should look internally. And I do understand, like, disagreeing, like, and that's totally fine. You shouldn't agree with everything you see. Maybe you don't even agree with everything that I say, but if you have that power within you to leave a negative comment or to say something negative or to say something mean or to anonymously post something, like, what does that say about you rather than the other person? So I started posting on social media, and I think what was really difficult for me, was difficult for my mental health, was letting vanity metrics control me. In the beginning, I was very focused on followers, on views, on likes, all that stuff. And that stuff really weighed me down, and that stuff really kept me stuck for a while and sometimes made me just not want to create. And then I got to a point where I was over creating because I was trying to keep up with algorithms. I was trying to keep up with followers and growing and all this stuff. And then I realized, like, I was growing only in terms of followers. Like, I wasn't growing a business. And yes, I had an email list, but I wasn't really doing, like, email marketing. I wasn't putting out my courses because I had this imposter syndrome that people were going to think that I'm a scammer, or people were going to think that I charge too much, or literally just all these things, these limiting beliefs that came up. And then I said to myself, like, I'm posting all of this content, but what is it really doing for me? Like, followers is great, but at the same time, like, I wanted to build a business, and I was like, how can I drive this traffic to my business? How can I make something out of this? How can I take these people off the platform and give them something more? How can I turn this into a business? And that's when I opened my eyes. And, another really great story that I'm going to intertwine here is when I launched my online course, I definitely got, like, some sales. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was just kind of like, I'm going to figure it out as I go. The content was really great, but in regards to, like, the business and the back end stuff, I just kind of was like, whatever, like, on a whim. So I'd invested in this business coach. I had paid, I think, like $5,600, and that was the biggest investment I'd ever made in myself. But I said at that time, I've invested way more now. I said to myself, if I can invest in this coach, then I can charge this much for my services. And little do you know it, a couple weeks later after I had invested in that coach, I had signed my first $5,000 VIP one-on-one coaching client. And that was huge. I had signed a few of those. So after that, so I was just like, wow, like, this really opened my eyes. And it also, like, reminded me that, like, you limit yourself. Like, no one else is limiting you except you. And when I had signed on with that coach, we were doing some strategy. I was going to host this, like, free live training and all this stuff. I had 3,000 people signed up for a free live training that I was hosting in my Facebook group. And the day before, my Facebook account got shut down, and I was locked out of it, and I couldn't get into it for the live training. And I went into this, like, massive depression because I just felt like a failure. I just felt like I wasn't doing anything right. I felt like a failed entrepreneur. And I was so upset and I really let it get to me. And of course, people were very understanding and people were so kind and so nice. They're like, whenever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it, like, we're here for you, take the time for you. And what really let me down was that I saw that the people that I had been so worried about talking shit about me for my social media posts and my social media posting and what I was doing were talking about me, about the live training. And I think that's what really crushed me, because my limiting belief came to fruition. And the people that I had been so worried about that had stopped me for so long from posting were talking shit and were saying whatever they're saying. And to me, it felt like, oh my God, I'm a failure. See, I told you, Julia, like, I knew you were a failure. I knew you weren't cut out for this. I was saying like all these harsh things to myself. I couldn't get out of bed. It was really bad. My boyfriend was trying to support me at that time. We were doing long distance and he was trying to support me from afar. And I just literally just remember I couldn't get out of bed. And I had never been depressed like that before. I had gone through little episodes here and there, but I was just so depressed. I don't know, I just found it within me one day to get up and be like, I'm going to Trader Joe's. And I was like, I'm going to go buy myself flowers. I'm going to go buy myself healthy groceries. I'm going to fuel my body. When I was there, I was feeling very down. I texted my boyfriend, I remember, and I said, I'm tired of being sad. But the Trader Joe's that I go to actually had no reception. So I was really forced to sit with that feeling with myself. And I was just so sad and down, and honestly I was just doing my own thing. I didn't talk to anybody. I was just buying my groceries. My podcast was playing, and it was by Glennon Doyle. I love her, and what she said was, it's not about trying to feel happy all the time. It's about feeling everything all the time. And I think that stuck with me, the fact that my text wasn't sending to my boyfriend. I had to sit with my emotions. So when I was at checkout at Trader Joe's, this woman came up to me and she said, "May God bless you." And I just looked at her, and the cashier looked at me like, "Do you know this lady?" And I was just like, oh my God, what just happened? This lady just came up to me randomly and said that, and now the light is shining in my face. And I think it's just reminding me that the light right now in my apartment is shining in my face. It's just reminding me that you're always being guided and protected. And I think, like I said, having this unwavering faith and belief in myself, and now this real life guardian angel, I have the chills, coming up to me in Trader Joe's saying, "May God bless you." I was just wow. I started bawling, crying. I tried to look for her, to go talk to her and just be like, why did you come up to me? Why did you say that? But she was gone, and I never saw her again. And I think that really helped me get out of that depression that I was in, because I said to myself, I can't do this anymore. I'm meant to do something, and it's not about changing the goal. It's about changing the plan. And I think that is what really opened my eyes, and really to say that lean in, not away, when you're going through something. And when that happened, I decided that it was time to start going to therapy, and I started using BetterHelp. This is not sponsored by them, but I do have an affiliate link in the description where if you sign up, you can get a free week of therapy. I get a free week of therapy, so it's a win-win for the both of us. And that really helped me, because even though I was no longer working with that life coach that I had been working with in high school and college, a little bit into post-grad, not really, I decided okay, it's time for support. It's time for help. BetterHelp is very affordable. I think I pay $80 a week. And for me, that's worth it. That is so worth it to me, because I could easily spend that money on clothes, on food, on going out. $80 to give to myself a week, that's 2 workout classes in New York City. I'm I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. And that really helped me, just to have somebody to talk through what I had been going through, especially with entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship gets very lonely. And especially when you don't have other entrepreneur friends, it's really hard to relate to other people and for other people to know what you're going through. So having therapy really helped me, and in more ways than I can imagine, just letting out what's on my mind, being vulnerable, being honest. And I think especially being a coach, sometimes it can be difficult for me to do that because I'm so used to, inspiring others. So to have somebody having my back as well, more personally, just really changed the game for me. So honestly, therapy has changed my life. And a few other things, and really just to wrap this up, this video is so long. I don't know how long I'm going to edit it to be. Maybe not as long as it actually is. I think I'm recording for 34 minutes now. But what I've learned through this whole journey with my mental health is that you are never alone. You are always being guided and supported in every single moment. And you really have a spiritual team on the other side rooting for you. There is somebody guiding you and supporting you. And I personally call that higher power God. I grew up Catholic, and I just say God, the universe, always has my back. And I think for a while, I thought that I had to carry everything by myself. I thought I had to do everything alone. I thought that I was alone. I had to just figure it out. And you are not alone. You are always being guided and supported. Ask for help when you need it. That has been a key for me. When something's wrong, I turn to somebody. When I can't support myself, I ask for help. I look for help. You have to be willing to look for the resources because they're there for you. I'm going to leave some resources for you in the description. But what I've really learned throughout this whole entire journey is that you have to be willing to ask for help. You have to be willing to know that you can't do it all, that you can do it all, but you can't do it all of the time. And that one quote really helped me. I hope it helps you. And just remember that I am cheering you on, that there's always help, there's always resources. And rather than playing the victim and say, why is this happening to me? Rather say, why is this happening for me? What am I supposed to be learning here? What is the lesson? How can I support myself? Because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said before, I always had this faith that no matter what, it was going to work out someday. And I even still live my life to that today. When something doesn't go right in my business, I'm adaptable. And I say, let's change something to make it work. Because I want it to work. This is what I want to do. This is the work that I want to be doing. So if something doesn't work, rather than now, what I've learned, looking at myself like you're a failure, I say, let's change the plan, not the goal. So I hope this video brought some light to you. I hope this video helped inspire you. And I hope this video really shed some light that I'm human too, and that your favorite people that you look up to, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, they're going through shit too. Don't think that you're alone. So watch these kind of videos. Sign up for the free week of therapy. Do all of these different things that's going to support you in your journey. And as I always say, find what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you. What works for me may be perfect for you. But the best piece of advice that I can leave you with is this. Always listen to your inner guidance system, because it will never steer you wrong. So if you're looking for an answer, get quiet and lean in and ask for it, and it will be given. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Thank you so much for giving me this space to be able to open up to something that I haven't opened up about before, but I just feel so supported and loved in my community. And I'm just really, really grateful for you if you're watching this. And I'm sending you so much love, so much light, so much abundance. And this beautiful light is just gleaming in. And it just is reminding me that this video was meant to reach you and meant to reach all the right people and all the people that it is reaching. So I love you, and I will see you in the next video.